I am joined with Steve Stasiak.
Hi, Kenny. Thank you for the generous introduction, and it's great to be here with you tonight.
Thank you so much, sir. I truly appreciate it, and we got plenty of things to get into. And let me go ahead and get started. I want to focus on you first, sir. You recently competed in the Malenko Cup. For those that may not know what the Malenko Cup is, talk a little bit about it and what was it like to be a part of it.
Well, Kenny, for myself personally, as a professional wrestler, it was an honor to be a part of the Malenko Cup. The Malenko Cup is a tournament that's held every year by Frank Reyes, who was trained by the great Malenko, and had a hand in the school, the Malenko Academy the whole time, and training with Dean Malenko and Joe Malenko and Debbie Malenko and so many of the great wrestlers that have come out of their school, Fred Ottman, Tugboat, Norman Smiley spent time there, a lot of the Guerreros. It's a very, very prestigious academy and a prestigious company, and to be invited to compete this year, they have the Malenko Cup every year, but this past year was my first invitation to be a part of it, and I wrestled, and I had what I would consider a career night for myself. I had a match that I was very proud of that night, and this year, June 26th, I'll be back in the Malenko Cup, and I hope to have another career night. And it's just an honor for any wrestler that gets to experience that, and it's put together by some great people, some great promoters, and some great sponsors. And I encourage anybody that can to take a look at Frank Reyes' shows down at the Malenko Academy.
Most definitely, and I'm a fan of the Malenkos and what they have done for this business. It definitely shows appreciation for what they do for a living to come up with an event like this and to invite wrestlers, invite people such as yourself. I mean, that definitely has to mean a lot, because this is just one of those events that they don't just invite anyone. They just invite
Oh, no.
people. They invite people that takes this craft seriously and really wants to elevate this business to a whole nother level. So, I mean, this is a big deal. So I'm happy to hear that you enjoy yourself in the Malenko Cup. And everybody, like he said, go check it out this year if you are near the area. Um, 2013 was a pretty good year for you, man. And for my understanding, for the third consecutive year, you was in the PWI Top 500. Um, how does that make you feel, man? To be acknowledged, by Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which I think is the biggest magazine in all of wrestling, of course. But how does it make you feel to be acknowledged to be on that list for a third consecutive year?
Well, it makes me very proud. It's a list that features some of the greatest wrestlers in the world, and it's an honor to be listed, with Pro Wrestling Illustrated anytime, and just to even be considered for the 500 means a great deal to me. As a kid, it was a magazine that I used to buy every year when it would come out. I couldn't wait for the 500 to see who was the first ranked wrestler and who was the 500th ranked wrestler. It was always something that I looked forward to, and my friends looked forward to it. And we grew up in my neighborhood on wrestling, and that was a magazine that everybody bought. And to be featured in it, once was a dream come true. And my third year, I feel honored. And it's three magazines that hang on my office wall, and I'm very proud of. And it was a tremendous honor, and I hope that a lot of other wrestlers get to experience that also.
It's definitely one of those highlights, I would say, that people look forward to. It's one of those things that people look forward to when it comes to being a wrestler, just to see if you made the list or not. And that must have took a lot of research, a lot of watching matches. It's one thing to have a top 100 list, but to have top 500 to look around wrestlers, not just here in America, but all over the world. I mean, That must have been so overnight.
Those guys do a lot of work. You know, they do a lot of research and they watch a lot of matches, and they work really hard to put that list together. It's unbelievable what they put into it. You know, it really is. And I have a lot of respect for those guys at the magazine. That they work just as hard at what they do as you know, we do in the ring. And a lot of times, you know, they're the ones that don't get any credit for it. They don't receive a lot of spotlight for what they do. But they're usually some of the hardest workers in the business, and it's great to talk with those guys sometimes and get their perspective and hear what you know goes into putting that list together. And you know, maybe I can arrange Kenny for you know one of the guys from the magazine to come on and talk with you sometime.
Hey, I'll be very honored for that, man. Just to talk to him, to get insight, get perspective. You know, I'm a wrestling fan myself, and even I can learn something more when it comes to the wrestling business. So I will be honored to have anyone for Pro Wrestling Illustrated on the show in the future. Now, if you don't mind, I want to talk about one of your clients. And before I get into that, if you want to learn more from Steve and his clients, you can check out the Facebook fan page. It's called Book Pro Wrestlers, and the URL is facebook.com/Book Pro Wrestlers Now. That's all one word put together. Again, that's facebook.com/Book Pro Wrestlers Now. And you can learn more from Steve. You can learn more from the clients, Leilani Kai, Vader, Soulman Waukee Johnson, Tartovec the Gamer, and many others. Go to the Facebook, like the page, and find out when Steve clients and Steve himself may be coming to a city near you. Go check it out. I want to get to one of your clients, Tartovec the Gamer. She had quite a 2013 with Wild Wrestling, and which include a match with Jungle Girl and Santana. But what I really want to talk to you about is the match with Tartovec and Jungle. It was definitely match of the year, in my eyes, in my honest opinion. And what I want to know, and what Wild Wrestling fans want to know, do you see a rematch between these two ladies in the future?
Well, you know, Kenny, I think it goes without saying that when something like that happens in the ring, like what those two ladies put forth, what those two athletes did in the ring, I think wrestling fans as a whole, not just wild wrestling fans or women's wrestling fans or men's wrestling fans, I think wrestling fans as a whole, I think it grabs their attention, and I think it moves them, and it does something different for our sport. I stood back from afar, and I was lucky enough to be on hand that night, and I seen the emotion that those two ladies drew from the crowd. Those two girls went in that ring to outcompete each other. People see wrestling on many different levels, and wrestling is something unlike anything else. You really can't compare it to any other sport, any other performance. But you know, sometimes special things happen in life. And when those two got in the ring, I think something special happened. And it's not just me saying it. It's people that have performed in this business all around the world and that have performed on a high level. And collectively, the opinion is that Tartovec and Jungle Girl performed on a different level that night. And that's something that I think the wrestling world is going to see again. And I, for one, would be excited to see it. And I think it is something that we're going to see again. And, you know, it's exciting. And I look forward to it. And yes, I think it will happen.
I know from a fan standpoint that to all the fans that were able to watch this in person, it's just one of those times that you can honestly say that the money was well spent, not just for that match in particular, but the whole card. A lot of talented women wrestlers in that roster. And if you don't know Wild Wrestling, listeners, I highly recommend you check it out. Google them, check out the ladies. And check out Tatovic as well, because for interviewing her, she has a bright future, and to get high praise from a legend such as Leilani Kai, I mean, that's the biggest a co-sign that a wrestler, male, female, can ever get. So, and speaking of which, she had a very good year, winning most of her matches, and with the new year already arrived, I want to know from you, do you expect a repeat year in 2014 for your client?
Well, I expect 2014 to be even more exciting for Totovic. She went largely undefeated last year. She had a match that was a draw with Jungle Girl, but for the most part, she went undefeated. She defeated Santana Garrett her first time in the ring. Santana is a highly seasoned, well-trained, very, very good professional wrestler. And Totovic went out there and, in her first performance, she came in ready to wrestle, and she came in ready to compete, and she defeated Santana. And then, she went on to take Jungle Girl, and, they put on a match for the ages. And, then she started traveling across country. She defeated Melissa Coates in a big pay-per-view match in Georgia, November 8th. And she's got a lot of big matches coming up. So I would encourage all of the wrestling fans to keep up with Totovic on her Facebook page, facebook.com/Wow Totovic, Tatevik, and you can keep up with where she'll be performing, her upcoming appearances, where she'll be signing, wrestling, all throughout the country. She'll be appearing. So I would encourage all the wrestling fans to keep up with her through her page, and we'll keep you updated where she'll be.
Well said, and everybody go check that out. Also check out Steve's page, Book Pro Wrestlers. You can book Steve like I did. You can even book some of his clients as well. You won't be disappointed, and it's well worth the look. It's well worth the liking the page. It is definitely well worth. Especially if you're a wrestling fan in general, because we the clients that you have, especially the veterans, we talking about legends, we talking about Hall of Famers, we talking about pioneers. I mean, we talking about wrestlers and entertainers that I grew up watching, and to see them still be around and get to see what's going on in today's wrestling. I mean, and for any young aspiring wrestler can learn from these veterans, from your clients, and I give you a lot of credit, Steve, for putting this all together, and to have all getting them the word out on these guys and girls. And again, Steve, as I let you go, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. It was great chatting with you, sir, and I hope you enjoy yourself as much as I did.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it, and myself and all my clients are big fans of Triple Threat Radio, and we appreciate being on. And we are looking forward to coming back on with you in the future. We have a major announcement coming that will be not only affecting me and my clients, but it will be affecting a lot of different people in professional wrestling and the business itself in a great way. And I look forward to coming back on and speaking with you. And we'll have a big announcement coming. And maybe I can bring a surprise guest on for you to make the announcement.
Oh, that would indeed be awesome, and I look forward to this. And again, thank you for your time. You enjoy yourself, man. You have a great Super Bowl weekend. Again, thank you for your time, man.
Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate it.